So Emily and I have created a show called The Bachelorian. We're going to try and find suitors for all the single Mandos out there, you know?
I'm curious just how you think we will see like a different emotional side of Din Djarin going forward.
There's so many different surprising ways for us to experience emotion through this character, because our introduction to him was the opposite of that. This is an emotionless, armored, hidden man. I don't know, to see priorities change and to kind of like, I guess, for him to discover his own heart in a way. I don't think he knew he had one. Has been a really exciting thing. And I remember talking to Jon once and just being like, you know, the way that you guys love him is it means everything to me, and I think it means everything to everyone. And so I got to tell you, it's for me just as much as for you. It's amazing to see that the evolution of that and to see what will come.
I'm curious if, in addition to just all the crossover play that you've been doing, if there's been any talk about a capstone project or building towards something larger.
Well, I think that inevitably, no matter how simple you start, the story threads start to connect and weave and overlap. With Dave Filoni's, deep understanding of everything around the time period, opportunities will always arise when we have story meetings and conversations. I mean, that's really how the Luke thing happened. It wasn't that we necessarily planned to include Luke Skywalker at the end of season 2, but as we were looking for Yoda to get training, we started to weigh out, well, what Jedi are around, who's left, and it started to not make sense for it not to be Luke. That's how we start to, as we start to tell stories, those stories take on lives of their own, and they have trajectories. And then as those trajectories begin to organically intersect, larger stories with more characters start to make more sense. We get to tell stories slowly, so now as Dave's doing Ahsoka, it's very much informing the writing that I'm doing for season 4. So when I was writing the first season of Mandalorian, I could do anything, set it anywhere. Dave would read it, we'd go back and forth, I would adjust, and there it was. Now, we have to figure out why there are certain Mandalorians who wear helmets, certain ones who don't wear helmets, what's happening on Mandalore, what's Bo-Katan doing at this time, how does she feel about that, where's the Darksaber? So it really creates very fertile ground for imagination for storytelling.
I felt like Moff Gideon was a guy who was just a foot soldier. He was just in line, and he was someone who observed more than he spoke. And he saw how things were being run. And so Moff Gideon is one of these guys who sees an opportunity and seizes upon it. And I went, why would he seize an opportunity? Why wouldn't he just want to keep his own little community? Because he has bigger and larger aspirations. Because he really feels like he could bring all of these other wardens together and then convince them and paint a picture of what he saw was the way to put the empire back together. And this sort of fascinated me, and I think it fascinated them. And who knows, maybe that might be the case that comes about. I can't say it is, but with any one person who says he wants to be a partner, there's part of that person, be careful who comes to the table first. There's part of that person where you can believe they want to be a partner, but the other part of it is they don't want to be a partner, they want to own the company. And you know what? I mean, don't we all want to own the company?
There you go,
right?
exactly.
Because then we can dictate our own terms and what we want to get from that. So here again, intention's everything. Picture this. In our world now, and the reason we love this particular franchise so much is because we look around and we see that the bad guys outweigh the good guys. And you see it. Without judging their politics, you see the intention of that. And I want to be in a world where the good guys, the good intenders, the good intentionalists outweigh the bad guys. So without making any comment on corporations, people, places, and things, it's a comment on who are we and what side do we stand. These scenarios are playing out right now in our politics. To tell a woman that she doesn't have control over her body for any reason at all doesn't seem right. Doesn't feel right. Right? Correct?
No.
So, to tell a people who may speak your same language that country's not theirs, that they don't belong there when their ancestors go back many, many, many years, and this particular conflict goes back many, many years, that doesn't feel right. To be standing on the sideline and trying to help, but being judicious because we have to be, because we have to protect all these other people in our world, that kind of feels right, but it still frustrates us because we can't make people do what we want. Right. And that's Moff Gideon.
If you were to put them side by side, how would you compare the pilot skills of Bo-Katan and Starbuck?
Well, I mean, Starbuck did die, so, she ain't that good of a pilot.
Good up till that point, though.
She was really good until she flew into that storm and died. But
sure.
No, I do think that Bo has a little bit more, I'm not going to say skill set, but I think she's got a little bit more tools at her disposal. So
obviously, I know that you can't say too much about what's going on in anything that deals with Star Wars, so I'm wondering if you can tell me a lie about stuff that's going on with Bo-Katan in the future.
Yeah, so Emily and I have created a show called The Bachelorian. We're going to try and find suitors for all the single Mandos out there,
Oh my God, he's gonna get us with this. He's gonna trick us.
Yeah, I'm the worst at two truths and a lie.
Sabine's hair is this color.
There you go.
That's a lie.
Okay.
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel?
That's a lie.
Directing is a real challenge, at the very least. It's absolutely joy, but a real challenge. And part of the reason it's a challenge is you're not in a vacuum just doing your own thing. You're collaborating with an awful lot of people and bringing an episode to life that comes from a long, long line of material that has already been created with characters who are so etched in people's memory. So how can you learn enough to not stray too far from the Bible, as it were,
They have not given me a lot for her backstory, and there are details here and there that I've given myself as far as it helps. But really for her, more of what has helped me and what I've gotten from them has been thematic ideas, because she is an archetypal ideas, because she is this mentor. She's sort of a matriarchal figure. And when we first started talking about her, we talked a lot about kind of the samurai order. We talked about Kurosawa films. And it has been a lot of images that have more helped me with her, and I guess sort of just the feeling that I get about her.
So I'm enjoying the fact that, hey, I had the opportunity to bring Boba back. And they had a lot of gaps to fill with this guy. I think there was an advantage because we didn't see too much of him. I think we need to get him back being the real badass kind of character that he once was.
Sure.
I kind of went for the fact that, hey, he's learned a little bit now from the Tuscans. Maybe he's softened, like the way we all do. So yeah, but I think we've done that in the book of Boba, so now there's room for more chapters. But hey, that's out of my control.